So we're here, day 2, Goodwood Festival of Speed with Horatiu from BMW Blog, and we wanted to show you the BMW Concept Skytop.
I've seen the car before. It's the second time with this car. They unveiled it back in May at the Concorso d'Eleganza. Clearly, it's probably the one car that I've seen in recent history that didn't get any bad feedback. A lot of people love the car. I personally love the car. I think it's unique, completely different than anything that I've seen on the road. Of course, it's got some influence from other cars too.
Like the Z8, it reminds me of the Z8.
Yeah, so I mean, you can see the Z8 clearly from the front, right? I mean, if you look at the shark nose, it's something that you don't see too much on current cars. I mean, you get this really angled nose forward, completely beautiful design there. And then, of course, you have these very slim headlights and taillights as well. We'll take a look at that. The story with the headlights is that they're the slimmest headlights ever put into a production-ready car. So they might have done concepts that were slimmer than this, but when it comes to a production-ready car, the slimmest.
And BMW has confirmed the production of this?
They have not confirmed that, so that's just
okay.
a rumor,
So
basically, that I probably started. But the idea is that they're thinking about doing this car into a production series, and this is the exactly reason why they built this car as really production-ready. So if you look at the previous concept from previous year, which was a Z4 Coupe concept, that car was not really ready for production yet for multiple reasons, but this one, when they designed this car, they had in mind to put it into production. So if it goes into production, and that's probably going to happen, probably like 50 units, over 500K basically.
So size-wise, it seems like an 8 Series platform that this is based on.
Yeah, so it's based on an 8 Series chassis. Actually, the interior, it's really an 8 Series interior, but the entire body, like underneath, it's really an 8 Series car. But it's quite interesting. I mean, not just the nose, but if you look like at the front here, even this grille, it's completely different. You have this matte material combined with chrome, which is quite different than they've done before. You see these creases here, which you haven't seen it before because they have an opening here, so that's a functional piece. And this particular piece actually flies through the car all the way to the back. So they actually connect, and even inside the car, you will see this line running across. And if you look from the top, it kind of gives you the idea of like a Rolls-Royce boat tail, essentially. And that's kind of the custom build design they wanted to do with this car. But since you mentioned the wheels, we should definitely take a look at that. At the first glance, they might look like Alpina wheels, basically, but it's a 2-layer design. So you see this Alpina style is in there, or maybe even BBS a little bit, but then you got a second layer on top.
Yeah, it reminds me of an E34, kind of a turbine-style wheel that had the placement on the standard wheel from behind.
Exactly. I mean, I'm sure they're not easy to clean, honestly,
no,
if you have this, but
the worst.
I mean, they're just beautiful. And this dual-layer design, it's quite cool, and something that, honestly, I've not seen on a production series car. If you look to the side, I mean, you can clearly see production-ready mirror. I mean, that's pretty much an A-series thing, so...
And then additionally, I think the handle, the door handle, which they finally perfected, I believe, on this model, right?
Yeah, so I think the reason why they put this one on, because they were testing this particular handle on the Neue Classic cars as well. So this is probably like preview of what we might see into production series. But it's actually, it's a haptic door handle. So I thought it was electronic. No, you actually have to pull it a little bit, and then it senses that movement and it just opens up. So it's not digital really, it's really haptic. You got to pull a bit and it just opens up. It's quite cool. But once again, if you see from the side, it's got a Targa type of design. So it's not a Roadster really, it's more of a Targa.
So is that going to be a 2-piece roof or a 1-piece roof?
Yeah, so unfortunately we can't do it right now, but we can put some B-roll on top of it. It's a manual install basically. So there are 2 pieces inside the trunk and you have to manually mount it on top. You can see the mounting points as well.
So it's a true Roadster.
It is. And if you look behind there, it also has the roll bars. You can see them, but it has the roll bars in case of a crash, basically. Yeah, exactly. If you look now towards the back, what you will see immediately is the fact that it's got this reddish brown color right there.
But now it's faded.
It's fading, yeah. So apparently that was really complicated to do. So like fading that whole thing. I mean, it was painted actually in Dingolfing, so it was not a special paint shop anywhere else. It was really in the factory by a specialized team apparently.
Because it's not a Vision, and you were explaining to me the difference between a Vision concept and a regular BMW concept being pretty close to production as far as the way everything looks. This is a production interior, like you mentioned.
Yeah, so the Vision basically, it's just they're trying to showcase future technologies. When they do a concept like this, it's something that's closer to production. I would say this is not even a concept to me. It's really a car that's ready to go live tomorrow. I don't think they need to change anything on it. Minor details. I mean, you can see the exhaust pipes, oval shape, similar to Alpina style. And that clearly tells you right there you have a powerful engine. It's the M8 competition engine in there. It probably makes 617 horsepower probably.
Yeah, and standing back here, you really can see there's even kind of a reverse shark nose in the rear with boat tail, like you said, in the boat tail design.
the slanted forward, they call that a positive nose, and once you have it like this, they call it a negative angle, basically. And once again, they wanted to play this duality, from what I heard, in between the front and the back. But then once again, you see this line that was running across from the front all the way, and it actually connects here.
The spine.
Exactly. And I don't recall how to open the trunk. I think it was manually done via the remote. So that's one thing that's going to change by on the production series. But there is an interesting story with the taillights. So the taillights, they couldn't shape the LEDs basically into this. It was really, really complicated. So what they did was they put the LED lights inside the silicone, and that's how they managed to mold it around the car, because they just couldn't do it. And those are really the thinnest they've ever been on a production series car, basically.
It's really a dynamic design, and I actually love it from BMW. Yeah, and it was a surprise, right? Most people were very surprised at Villa d'Este of seeing the car.
What you cannot see right now is actually that there is a windshield in the back. It's electronically operated, and you can lower it or raise it, basically.
So once the top is on, you can close the back window. And
you can close it even without the top on, basically.
Yeah,
you
maybe
can
to reduce the wind.
Exactly, noise, wind, all of it. But I mean, you can see the design also from the back. It's more of an M car than anything else, honestly, because you have these really broad shoulders. I mean, they stick out. You just look by how much. Pretty cool. Actually, it's quite spacious inside. If you take out the targa top and you put it on, it's really quite spacious. They also have a really nice divider inside, so the two pieces do not scratch. So there's like a suitcase built-in type of thing to separate the two pieces. But let's take a look inside, maybe from this side, maybe. If you see right there, it's clearly an A-series. iDrive 7, so that hasn't changed. You have all the physical buttons, which is something that I said that's pretty cool.
Looks like they've added the crystal to the steering wheel, which is unique. I haven't seen that.
Yeah, so crystals are unique in a way that it's the same design as in the regular one, but it's a rainbow type of color, basically. Yeah. And that's definitely unique.
I can see it from here. I can see orange and pinks and
and even the leather, it's actually a completely different leather, and you can see the seats. I mean, the design with that leather, it's kind of like double stitch on it. Once again, it was done in the saddlery in Dingolfing by a specialized team, from what I heard, and it's the highest quality they have today, but in any BMW, that's what they told me. But you can see the entire interior. The idea was also to put leather everywhere possible inside. They said it's supposed to be a luxurious car, because if it goes on sale, it'll be over $500,000 basically. Yes. So they gotta justify that price somehow, which is, I still think it's crazy. Steering wheel, a little bit of a different design than usual. It's still quite beefy, but you can see leather literally everywhere in the car. I mean,
it also is the old screen design. It does not have the large screen of the newer models, similar to the 8 Series platform would have.
It's probably difficult to re-engineer the whole thing and put a new one, but I guess in many ways they wanted to kind of keep it more classy, and a lot of people like this type of design with a lot of buttons and switches and the screen.
But I think maybe they've also been working on it for such a longer period of time.
Not really.
Not really?
No, this type of concepts for Villa d'Este, it gets done like 2 to 3 months before the show. And sometimes they're struggling to actually finish it, to put it on the lawn there.
Gotcha.
And this was the same thing. I mean, it was done a little bit sooner than that, but it was just a few months project. So they do it quickly, and this is why they usually use a coach builder, or if they can, they will build it in-house. And
with
they did this. So this one actually was a combination, was in-house, but they also use a coach builder for certain parts, which they haven't told me which ones. But that's why they were able to move quite fast. With the previous project, it was a little bit longer because they had to go to Italy, I think to Turin.
And that was with the Z4 Coupe. They had some coach builders involved, a lot more in that vehicle.
Yeah, because of crash regulations, apparently, to cut off the roof, or actually to complete the roof, basically, it was a little bit more complicated than on the Roadster. So that's the reason why. But yeah, that's pretty much the story with this one, really.
Well, thanks for showing us around the car.
Sure, yeah.
You have
absolutely beautiful. I mean, you see a lot of people basically looking at this car, and honestly, it's been the one car that if you look at social media, everybody loves the car, honestly.
Yeah, I got so many texts as soon as I posted it. People were texting me, asking me about the car. So thanks a lot, Horatiu. I appreciate it.
No problem.
There's more to come from Goodwood Festival of Speed.